Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing good. I'm having an okay day. We haven't been sleeping too good around here. Well, Doug's been working out late in the shop. He's got a customer car in there. When he fell off the ladder and just about broke his back, he was down for a couple years, and luckily, this customer is really a nice person. Hasn't been pressing him on it. He just said, feel good and do it when you can. And so when he can is like his days are more like evening hours. And when I was a young mom, my working days were mostly evening hours too. So I can relate like that. So it's been a little hard. And then his cat's still sick, and my kids are still messed up. So yeah, just some really rough times. And yeah, anyway. And then a bunch of so-called friends, just finding out who my friends are and aren't is a pretty big deal. So I've been doing a lot of contemplating on that, because I really would have less rather have less people in my life than the wrong ones. And if I deem them not worthy, well, whatever. I am judgmental who's in my life, and I don't care what anybody says about that. So that's the way I am. And if people get along with people that maybe I wouldn't or don't, or maybe would under different circumstances, but it's just like kind of not my thing. That's totally for them, whatever. So that's about all that's going on today. Well, I did take some powdered milk and a lemon and made some mozzarella cheese and some salt. And now I've got the whey in the oven and I'm making ricotta. So actually, it's kitty food. So um, when I don't feel good, quite often I'll bake or cook something. Keeps me busy. It's not too stressful where I can't put something on. And I mean, I had to stand there and stir it while it was developing the curds and stuff. But like now, with that in the oven, I only have to stir it every so often. And then when it dries out, it's done and it'll be ready. I did take some of the whey out for the kitties to drink, and they loved it. And I gave some to Doug's cat, and he loved it, and he wants more. I told him, well, he can wait until it's done now, and then he can have some of the cheese. So, so but I was surprised he liked it. He had milk in his bowl, and he drank that before he finished. He didn't even finish his other milk. He drank the stuff I gave him first, which surprised me with the lemon in it. I thought that would kind of turn him off, but you either use like rennet or citric acid or whatever in cheese making. So and I've used vinegar before. You can use too. So it's like with powdered milk, even in hard times, you can still make a cheese. So if you have water, you know. So yeah, that's what's going in my day. Not much, but I'm in a little better spirits than I was yesterday. Um, Yesterday was kind of hard on me. I mean, yeah, I did want to talk to my granddaughters, and I think and I hope they would want to talk to me. So, yeah, anyway, yeah, just a minute. I'll light a cigarette and think of something to say without getting in trouble. you know, I mean, pretty bad when you don't have to worry about getting in trouble with God because He likes you. but you have to worry about getting in trouble with the godless so they don't ban you or strike you. That's pretty bad. You know, it's like Call for an Uprisings channel. One of his, they took down. He gets about 100,000 subs. They take him down. He's got one that's like about 500,000 subs, and people said, like, why don't you put your information on here and we can find you? And he's like, well, they shadow ban him. They don't put him out there anyway. He's like, he pretty much just puts stuff on YouTube so we'll know where to find him. And I mean, he's got a website too, so where to find him and what's going on, that type of thing. So, but it is kind of cruddy because he gets up to that amount of subs and then they just annihilate his channel, because he was talking about one of the forbidden things. So we can't say anything about medical. We could have trained like I did in the medical field, and you could be a wonderful um, mind in biology like I am, and it doesn't matter. They don't want to hear anything out of anybody with a second opinion, you know. And that's the first time that I've ever heard of that scientists really, well, maybe not the first time. I've heard of scientists not wanting to listen to other scientists because they're so firm in their beliefs, or they're inspired by different organizations or whatever to have those opinions and stick with them. So no matter who's in peril or who gets hurt, as long as they can make their money and make their world go around, that's what they care about. So yeah, I don't know. I have heard say that Trump's still in charge of the army and Nasar Gasara, meaning the funds of the people that they're getting from all these people that they're taking to Gitmo and whatever, and that it should be like a couple weeks and we'll know more about these type of things, and that'll be interesting. I've heard it, was like one date and then another date, but now it's supposed to be pretty much a sure thing. That really would be neat for people to literally get tax money and not have to pay property tax. I mean, we already paid for our property several times over and paid the bank to get equity loans and stuff. It's like that part, yeah, that's fair. Give us a loan and we'll pay you interest. I understand that part. But we have no kids in school. I mean, if we were paying for road tax, infrastructure, you know, that type of thing, I could understand. But other taxes, why? You know, when you purchase the item, it's like when you buy a used car. Somebody else has already paid the tax on that car one time. So why should the next person have to do the same thing? That's ridiculous. Or people that leave their children money, why should that child have to pay taxes on the money that the parent paid taxes on all their lives? You know? So if I could get some of the money I paid into the government back, I'd be a happy camper. You know? Same with Doug. We're just waiting. It's like if this really is true, that'd be a good thing for us and we could move right away. He asked me where I wanted to move, and I told him up by the big lake. There's not a doubt in my mind. And he mentioned one town, and I've told him over and over again, I just literally hate this place because the people there, there's just a weird vibe about it. But there's another place that's closer to Canada that is so beautiful. And I mentioned a friend of ours that had passed away. I said, everybody that I met there was like him. And so, I'm not kidding. There's this one special town that is so beautiful. I mean, the mountain, the lake, everything, and the people, everything. It's just in there, my blood. That's like where where most of my bloodline comes from is where theirs does too, and coming down out of Canada. So it's like, yeah, I feel at home there, and I've never felt at home anywhere, not even where I live right now. Almost especially not here, which is terrible to say because we put a lot of time and love into this place, but it's like none of our kids are interested in any of our hard work. It's like, and oh, that phone call that Doug got last night was a guy that owns a shop. He asked Doug because Doug had mentioned that I wanted to move, and he asked, he said, is your shop for sale? And Doug says, well, we're talking about it. And he said, well, let me know. And this guy has the money to do that. So, um, seems like it could be a reality pretty soon. And or what I really want to do, I mean, this includes some of my kids' stuff and everything. I know this sounds cold, but I just want to take my stuff and leave everything and have somebody come in and say, yep, here's a price on the whole thing and kiss it goodbye. Because nobody's gave a shit about how hard we've worked to keep this place or keep things for them or anything. They could care less. They fucking hate us. So it's like, adios, you know? So that's how I'm feeling. It's like, it's like at one point I literally had a 800 number, not just for my business, but for my kids to contact me anywhere from anywhere in the world at any time, you know. So, but to hold out hope for people that could care less is really sickening, and I'm getting sick of it. So, yeah, and sometimes you really can be a little too nice in life, and maybe that brings out animosity. Um, Not maybe, yeah, it definitely does. Because if I cry, then I get angry. And I did cry. I wasn't pissed, but my feelings were hurt. And it's just shocking that people can be cold hearted and not even think about it twice. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. You have to beat me in the head with a shoe 25 times to know that it hurt the first time, you know? So, anyway, yeah. Oh, and then I was watching ASSE Direct, and he was talking about toxic relationships and not all of them being narcissistic. And that's really true because there's some people you just can't put your finger on it. Are they like bipolar? Are they manic depressive? Or maybe a little bit of each? Or what the heck is going on with these people? But they can have narcissistic tendencies. Now, I can too, but I'm not a narcissist. Mine comes out when my feelings get hurt, and then I'll hold it in and hold it in and keep trying to be sweet. And then, just like about every few months, I just can't stand it and I have to swear about it. And that's that's me. That's what I do, you know. So, yeah. I try not to swear too much, though. I really do. I mean, it doesn't get me anywhere, you know, but I did call people on Facebook mofos and brain dead and heartless and cold and, stuff like that. So, and the people that have been around me enough, they know, okay, that's just Barb, you know. because I know my heart's humongous, you know, and I don't get like that without a reason. It has many reasons. It has to be pretty bad. And it wasn't just like with my kids or anything. It was like I say, so-called friends doing things to push my buttons, you know. And if it's one friend, okay, but two or three and then everything else going on, it's like, okay, enough of this. I'm about ready to smack somebody here, you know. So not really, but you know, I mean, um, with my mouth. So I did. I laid the smackdown on their asses. It's like enough of you, you know. And I went from 997 people to like on 987 or something. So I did lose a few of them just from telling them well, I told them I wish they would choke on their own saliva. Not wish, I said, or they should choke on their own saliva, not to death, but just enough, you know. So that wasn't maybe the nicest thing to say, but hey, I got family on there that are worried about other family members seeing that they talk to me that won't even like a funny post or stuff like that, but will watch my every move. It's like enough of your shit. I didn't like your family get togethers anyway, you know? Really, you know. Well, I did with my blood family. I did enjoy that. Even with the fake ones there, mainly my mom. But I enjoyed being around my siblings and nieces and nephews, and I did have the time of my life like that with them because I had never had that before, you know, so not with a big family like that. So a real my blood, you know. So yeah, it was enjoyable for the most part, even though they didn't really realize that um, about 5 years prior to that, I had had a stroke, and they took me out in this river walk, and it was about 100 degrees. And then I went out to see my sister's horse, and it was also very stressful. And they just didn't understand that I wasn't quite, I mean, I thought I was going down to chill with my sisters and stuff. And the next thing I know, I'm being drug all over the place. And I felt like I wasn't allowed to sit in my mom's house with her trusting me in her home like her daughter. Like she could go and do something and I could sit there or something. So I don't know. That part of it was kind of bad. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever, whatever. And people can read my mind. I don't hide anything, you know. So it's not like they. She knew what she was doing. Is what I'm trying to say. And when I told her about like my health issues, she didn't say anything to my sisters or my brother, so they were aware of that. And I don't think any of them still are, you know. And I'm not going to say nothing. She can die being a liar about me and withholding pertinent evidence. She didn't even tell them I existed until I got a hold of them. My siblings thought there was only four of them, you know. So yeah, that's just the kind of person she is. So I totally disrupted her life. I'm glad though, because I met my grandmother and I met my siblings, and like I say, my nieces and nephews, and I think some of them love me. Um, Nobody really talks to me, but kinda, sorta, my youngest sister, but kinda, not much. But she's busy too, but she tries. They're phony with her too, though, because she's like Even like now she's still very beautiful, but like back in the day, she's like that big around, and neither one of us were very big, and we're pretty attractive young women. And some women, even if they have beauty too, they cannot handle it, and they treat you like shit. And I recognize that with my little sister too. It's like, yeah, I can see. I'm not blind or stupid, you know. So some of you probably know what I mean by that too. I have some pretty attractive friends, and I think you know where I'm coming from with that. You know, I mean, I'm not just blowing my own horn, but I know I look good for 60, almost 64. It's like, shit, there's some 40-year-olds or whatever that look about my same age. So it's like, yeah, whatever, you know. And if I'm having a really tired day, I might look like I'm 90, you know. They do too, though, you know. I bet some of you 40-year-olds feel like you're about 90. Just wait. It doesn't change. I'm not going to say it gets worse because I don't think it does. Kind of, sort of. I mean, your strength goes down and you do get a little more tired. But if you have aches and pains, they don't kind of really get worse. They just kind of still are there. And if you get more of them, then you just have more of them. Like if you fall and hurt yourself, then you hurt in another spot or something like that. But it's kind of like they say, pain or misfortunes or sadness in life, time heals all wounds. Nah, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. They don't really even fade. It's just that you find mechanisms within yourself to keep them at bay so you don't let them get you down, you know. But they don't really, really ever go away, you know. It's like, yeah, it's there. It's the way it is. Maybe for some people, maybe time heals their wounds. I can only speak for myself, you know. I mean, okay, like with a divorce, that does feel like a death. So that part was easier for me because I could pretend he was dead. But then if he called her something, you know, that didn't work too good. But it's not like the wound was reopened because when I move on, I move on. It's like done. I'm done, you know. So, and it takes a real lot for me to get in that situation. So, yeah. But anyway, I still love people I can't stand. I do. I have love in my heart for them. I'm not in love with them, but I have love for them. It's just I can't stand them, you know? So it's the way that is too. Maybe some of you don't. I can like my first marriage, I got annulled. I don't love him. I loved him, but after broken ribs and a broken jaw and some other really, I mean, he was ex-military special forces and an ex-cop, and when you're supposed to defend people and you could hurt a woman, um you're, I mean, really hurt them. And my second one was getting to be like that with all the drugs and alcohol he was doing. So it's like, and I recognized the signs of the escalation of the danger. So, and that was getting dangerous because I had my head cracked open where it had already been cracked before. And it's like, and broken cheeks, and, it's like, yeah, like this one right here, I was cracked. So, and, my sternum in my chest got split from a punch, and I had a spot on my heart the size of a fist that was black, like it was dead. Not just black and blue, but I'm talking but black. So, I brag a lot of how strong I am, but I wasn't fighting back, you know. And yes, these men were stronger than me and skilled in combat, military men. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever, you know. So, well, Doug promised me when he met me, he said, I can fix anything except for a broken heart. And he said that he heard they had new welding rods for that can weld epoxy even, um, that he would try and work on that. So, and he asked me if I'd give him some more time even lately here. And I told him I'm scared to. I mean, I'm still here, but, you know, hey, it's been a long time I've invested, so, and I think he has been trying more, so I'll just have to see how it goes, you know. I have a friend on Facebook that wrote a really nice song. I cannot remember the name of it offhand, but I listened to it twice this morning, and I was critiquing him. I was like, I think, like, you have too much keyboard and guitar up front, and your vocals are a little soft, and then he come back and he asked me, like, does this sound better? That his PA mixing system, he ordered one because his other one broke, so he moved his equipment back and moved his mic away from it a little bit and redid it, and I listened. It was a little better. But then one time, I think when he asked me if it was okay, I don't think he did anything, and he was just trying to see if I could tell the difference. I said it's still a little soft on the vocals. So it's like, so if you're listening, I know I have good ears. But yeah, really good song. I love the lyrics, and I told Doug you should listen to them because it really reminded me of his story with his ex and what my friend on Facebook, his name's David Demise, I think is how you would pronounce it. And he's on YouTube too. Um, Next time I do a video, I'll get the name of that song. And he redid it. It's a rough demo, a rough cut. But this morning I listened to it twice, and, well, actually almost three times because of when he asked me a couple questions. But yeah, it was good. I was jamming. I just loved the beat, and the lyrics were just wonderful. So I wrote on it. I love this, and I put a heart, and I said no BS, really, because he's got albums. I think one of the albums, the name of the album is 100 Songs About the Apocalypse, and he is and does have God in his heart. So I'm not saying he's like entirely perfect. He's like rough around the edges, like I am. So I can see his heart. Is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, he's a really nice guy. So yeah, some people were coming down on him about being vegan and whatever, vegetarian, whatever, and I don't care, and he doesn't care if people eat meat. It's just like, but why mock him, and why not leave him alone? If I'm backed in the corner, I'm going to say something to somebody because I raised a baby deer that her ears got cut off in a combine from farming. So just as many animals literally die out in the fields with the farming, rabbits, deers, all kinds that people do not realize goes on when their habitat is destroyed in their homes. And it's true. I'm telling you the truth. There's probably more animals killed making me a loaf of bread than there is the amount of meat that I would eat in correlation with that loaf of bread, you know. So that's just the truth. So I just pointed that out to him. Oh, and here's another thing I'll touch on really quick is if you've heard about those African clawed frogs, I raised leopard frogs and albino African clawed frogs, and they're saying that they're robotic, that they're cloning. This is my opinion. I believe they're lying, but I would watch my frogs have the eggs, put the eggs in the water, and the male would eat them unless I separated them. But when they emerged from their little pods, it looked just like what they're trying to pass out off as robots. So I'm calling BS on it. I'm telling you, I don't believe in cloning. Deep in my heart, God's the only one that can create life, and they can't mimic it. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I'm not saying robots or nanorobotics is not true. I'm saying biology and robotics is not a thing. That's my opinion. They've been trying to clone since 1932, I do believe. And when they cloned Dolly the sheep, they said they did. She lived for 2 weeks. I don't believe any of it. The closest thing to a clone on this planet is a Siamese twin, is what I wrote, and God made them. That's like two human beings that are connected, and that's the closest thing you'll get to two people being totally identical. So I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. I don't know, what a crazy world, right? Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.